Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. The number to call if you want to chat with me after the first break, 585-346-3000. You know, I was thinking about something last week. I remember my own family, other people's families, that when someone passed away and then there's a funeral or a wake or some form of service, how some people in the family are uninvited or actually told to not come. And I always thought, wow, that's harsh, right? That's harsh to say goodbye. But I understood it. Like, I got why people would do it. Or maybe they can't come to the reception afterwards or whatever, things like that. And generally speaking, it's because some personal affront, right? You never liked my husband, therefore you can't come to his funeral, or you disown my kids, so you can't come to the wedding or whatever, right? Anything like that. I get those types of things. But something interesting happened last week. For those of you who may not have been paying attention, a New York City police officer was killed, name of Diller. Officer Diller was killed. And his funeral service was last week. And the governor, Governor Kathy Hochul, tried to go there to show up. A lot of people. I mean, it was literally thousands of cops came. It was a massive service on Long Island. Massive. The governor goes to the service. And she was rebuffed. They said, we don't want you here. In fact, one of the relatives said that his blood was on her hands. Now that is a serious thing to say. And I thought about that, and I thought, is this, in my view, I want to be clear before I go here, the family has every right to rebuff whoever they want to rebuff. No worries. My question is, how did I personally feel about this? And again, my personal feelings are irrelevant. That family has every right to do whatever they want, regardless of my personal feelings. But I still get to have personal feelings. So I thought about it. You know, I have gone to funerals and receptions and wakes of people who've passed away, who I felt supported me when I ran for office, even if I wasn't that close to the family. I will sometimes, if I can, try to go to these events. I don't get to go to many of them, sadly, because of my timing and other issues, but I try to, and I sometimes do. I've never had anyone be angry at me or think I was, and most of you don't know I do that, right? If you're listening, unless I came to your place or to your event, you don't know I did it, because I don't do it and let people know. I don't talk about it, except today because of this specific issue. And even if I do it again, I won't do it. I don't post it online. You would never see me post it on Twitter. Look, I'm at somebody's funeral. Never do that. Never have. But she was trying to. So what bothered me initially about this wasn't the family. It was actually her. Because I thought to myself, why are you coming to this cop's funeral? Right? Cops get killed. Do you go to every funeral? Right? Why this one? And I think you did it. I'm sorry. I'm sure you did it because it was an event and you wanted to be like, oh, I hope they'll let the governor come in now, say a few words, and I'll go, we say no more, or some other stupid thing that she will say, because she always says stupid things after tragedies. So she'll say something dumb, but so I guess in that regard, they were good. They did let her say something dumb again, but she would have. So that bothered me. So when they pushed her off, I initially thought, again, my initial mind was, oh, well, because she's just grifting off of my family members' grief. So no, I'm not going to let you grift off of it. Okay. Also okay in my eyes. Again, they don't require my blessings for this, but they have it. But then when they said his blood is on her hands, I thought to myself, is that true? Is that true? And if that's true for this specific officer, who, if you don't know, was doing a routine traffic stop, was shot in the stomach under his vest, and he bled to death. Are others her responsibility also? The deaths in the subways, right? The arrests of the squatters, the women being punched on the street of New York. That's a thing. If you don't live in New York City, that's a thing now. Women being randomly punched in the face. Migrants now being both sides of the law, being part of gangs doing bad things and being exploited by gangs. Both of those things. Or the cannabis industry. Is she responsible for that violence? And my answer would be absolutely yes. Yes. These are policies that she has not only championed, but not even tried to stop and gone out of her way to defend even after failure. I get people making mistakes. I do. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But then once you see the error, you're supposed to go, oh, that was a mistake. Let me stop that. Let me fix this. Let me try to make things better. No. She will double down, triple down, see the violence, see the pain, and keep going. And want to go to a guy's funeral. Then I say, Larry, stop. You have gone too far here. I know you don't like our Lord and Master, Queen Kathy, the first of her name, destroyer of the middle class, banisher of conservatives. I know that. But I will tell you, I am right to say this. Because even for that cop, you might go, Larry, it's a random stop. That happens. How is she responsible? Because yet again, the person who shot that cop was a multiple arrested felon, multiple times arrested. Now, I have to always preface this because I have people who lean left who want bail reform, and I agree with them. Bail reform is important. I was a big proponent of the idea of bail reform. I still am. I think bail should be fairer. Our bail reform is a disaster. It was a disaster. It is a disaster. And we haven't fixed it. And literally years ago, I'm on record over 3 years ago saying you can repair this with a simple one-line change. All this bail reform is for first-time offenders. Done. We've now solved it. It's that simple. I said it publicly. It's on my website. I've said it on interviews. I said it when I was actually running for office in 2022. Just focus it on first-time offenders. You're a first-time offender, you get a break. What's wrong with that? You don't get punished worse because you're poor. Makes sense. Now I'm happy. That's bail reform I can get behind. It's bail reform the vast majority of New Yorkers could get behind. But when someone is arrested 2, 3, 4 times and on violent things, okay, is there a chance you got arrested once? You didn't do it, misunderstanding? Of course. Could there be a crooked cop or a crooked DA? Sure. Let's give it a shot. You got arrested and convicted multiple times? Come on, man. I'm just being honest here, right? Come on. Every one of these people who we get mad about, the subway pushers, the subway stabbers, the people who are punching the women, every single one of them has been arrested multiple times. Every one of them. And convicted multiple times. Multiple times. So Could she have prepared this? Yes. Now, do I know if that cop would have been hurt in some other horrible thing? Maybe. I mean, to be forward, cops get hurt in traffic accidents. Perhaps. But would he have been shot and killed by that guy? No. That I can tell you for sure. That would not have happened. Officer Diller would not have been shot and killed by that guy if we made my simple bail reform that I talked about. Grossly simple and open. And I know they know it because they read my website. I'm sure she doesn't read my website, but her people do because she's consistently using my talking points in things she says, in things she does. I mean, she doesn't actually do it. I'm sorry. She talks it. Her rhetoric is better. So I know that she's reading her team is reading my website. So they know what I've said. Ignored it. More and more people dead. Every time you see some woman doing a TikTok video or a YouTube video about how she just got punched in the face by some random guy, you're watching a local TV show and they're telling you about how people getting punched in the street, every one of them has been arrested more than once. They're all multiple offenders. They'd be in jail now, waiting for their trial. That's what would be happening right now. And here's the worst part. Judges know that too. What have they done? Nothing. Assembly knows that too. What have they done? Nothing. We just keep the violence going and going and going. Now, I've had more answers because I haven't even touched migrants yet. And I had answers for that too. You think they listen? Maybe one day they will. Cannabis, I had answers for that too. Sometimes I'm tired of being right so often. If I'm not, you can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and your internet chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. You know, it's not just the violence of people who have been arrested multiple times. I mean, it's a lot of that. I'll go not just on the streets, but to the subways. Some of you may remember I did a Sharpe Way show on this a couple of weeks ago about Her Majesty's, let me give her the proper respect that our Lord and Master, Queen Kathy, first of her name, deserves. She said, Her Majesty said, how she was going to fix the subway violence. And in speaking about it, when she was doing her talk, I brought up the fact that most of these people have multiple arrests, usually, over 5, sometimes 8 or 9. Then we found out the average. When I tell you this, I'm not joking. This is literally documented. You can go to the Kathy Hochul YouTube page and look at it, or my YouTube page and look at it. All good. It's true. About 40 people are doing almost all the crimes in the subway with 600 arrests. Her numbers, not my numbers. That's an average of 15 arrests per person. I thought it was 8 or 9. I was like, it's 8 or 9. And I thought that was terrible. I thought, oh my God, it's like 8 or 9. No. It's 15. I want you to think to yourself, what are the odds of you being arrested 15 times and you being innocent? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's possible. Also possible I win the lottery. These are also possible possibilities. But I think we all know you're arrested 15 times. Why are you going back out on the street when you get arrested again? Why? Why is the judge allowing that? And why is she allowing that? Why isn't she protecting judges? Right? She should literally be protecting judges who go against this. Why not? You've got the bully pulpit every time some culture war thing pops up about people of color or trans day or something. Then you're ready to yell and scream and have a press conference all day long. Where? Your Majesty? Your Grace? Where is your press conference to say, hey, judges, if you see a guy or gal who's been arrested, I don't know, I'll just go 10 times. I'm not even going to go 15. I'll say 10. Let's go 10. They've been arrested 10 times. Don't let them out of jail on bail. How about 10? We just go, I'd like 3, but fine. I'll take 10. We're doing 15. Give me something. Just say that. I'll support you. Please do it. Leave these people locked up for this. And if they're first-time offenders, look, I'll even accept second time. I'll go there. Right? People sometimes get mad at me, think I compromise too much. I try not to, but I look at where I live. I'll take twice. Okay. We're doing 15. Where is that press conference? Nowhere. But will she hoop and holler about some college students who feel unsafe because people are saying bad words? Oh, she'll do 4 or 5 of those press conferences, but not one to say, hey, what's wrong here? Joe says, just to respond, I'm going to be clear on this. Joe says, I don't care if someone's arrested 100 times, how many convictions? You know what? I would even take that. Joe, I'm okay. The issue is I say this because to me it's obvious. So I'm glad you brought this up. It may not be obvious to others. You're right. If you've been arrested 10 times and convicted of nothing, someone's harassing you. I got that. I'm with you. But to be forward with you, none of these guys who have been arrested 15 times have not been convicted at least twice. Some of them convicted 6, 7, 8 times. So yes, you know what? I would even go there. Joe, I'm happy to accept your compromise too. If they've been convicted, then we don't give them bail. I'm okay with that too. So let's make bail reform for those who aren't convicted. Again, yes, I'll take it. We are letting people out with, I'm not making this up, 15 arrests and multiple convictions. I'll take one. Deal. Joe, you and I, we've made the decision. We fixed it. But I want to go to a separate piece. And that is the idea of the migrants. A lot of people get pissed off. They get so angry. I do too, because I gave an answer for that too. Years ago for our southern border, and now I brought that idea just last year, 2 years ago, to New York State. And the idea is just create 1 or 2, either one, Ellis Islands in New York City. You come to New York City, Your first step is the Ellis Island. And then buses come in, the airplanes come in, they don't go out to wherever they want. Your butt gets right directly into the Ellis Island, directly, like right there. And if that means cops have to be there, okay. Private security, I don't care, okay. Whatever's required, you go right to the Ellis Island. The Ellis Island is basically a massively privately owned hotel/hospital facility, which is run by recruiting companies. Recruiting is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They easily could build several of these facilities. It costs a couple $1 million. They don't care. They would happily do it. And now all the money these people are paying now goes right to the recruiting company instead. And they will go through the process of here's how we vet you. Now we know who's coming into our country. And you go, wait a minute, hold on, Larry. There'll be bad guys. Bad guys won't come because they'll get deported. So bad guys won't be able to come here unless they try to lie, obviously. But again, if it's a private company and they place somebody someplace and they didn't do a good job of vetting them, there's actually repercussions for that. Yes, the company will have to pay a price for that. Yeah. Oh my God. How crazy is that? Repercussions for bad actions. Government pays nothing. This company or companies would. I say I have more than one company, 2 or 3 of them. 2 or 3 of them. You want to come to my state? Great. You have to go there. You don't want to go there? Out you go. 100%. That is equivalent of having an actual nice, vibrant immigration policy while still controlling them. I think Joe's mad at me. Joe's asking for nonprofits. I'll take nonprofits, Joe. I'll take it. Maybe there's a nonprofit answer, and then there's 1 or 2 private company answers, and the migrant can decide where they want to go. I don't care. You pick. The nonprofit wants to be free. They take as many as they can. After that, you got to pay. You don't want to pay? Out you go. And the government's not taking a cut, because once the government takes a cut, oh, see, then it's a problem. Now, can the government get a simple fee to help maybe allow them to have orange cards? I call it an orange card for them to go work. Fine. That's fine. Whatever. I don't mind that. As I said, 2 years. You show up at the Ellis Island. You get an orange card for 2 years. You may take 0 public assistance, and you must pay your taxes, and you must check in every 2 years. You say, Larry, that can't be done. We do it already across New York State. If you have to get your car inspected, you don't go to the government to get your car inspected. You go to a local shop or garage or something, gas station, wherever, you go there. They are authorized by the state to do the inspection. They charge you a fee. You get your government stamp. You're good, go. Same idea. Except now, it's from the federal government, and it's your 2-year work permit. Again, with this ID, you get an actual ID. With this ID, everyone is told and understands you may not get public assistance. So if you show up to get public assistance with that ID, they look at it and go, no, you don't get it. And if they do it, they broke the law. Yeah. All of a sudden, that changed everything. Now, the bad guys won't come to New York. They'll still come because the border's wide open, so they'll still come. This won't come here. I can't solve every problem, but I can solve that one. That one I can solve. You make a wait a minute, Larry, what stops them from coming here? I will tell you what does. The reason why the bad guy migrants do well here is because they're able to blackmail all the other migrants because they don't have documents. Yeah. So if all of a sudden all the migrants here who are just here to work actually have documents, well, then they're not scared of the bad guy migrants, but they just call the cops on them. Yeah. They would turn their own bad people in. Of course they would. Easier for law enforcement, less crime, less exploitation. Bad guys don't come here. We all make money and no government solution. Will they ever listen? Maybe. You tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Way Radio. WYSL Rochester, New York. Back with your calls. And I see the chat. I promise I'll get to you right after the break.
Welcome, Olean.
WYSL.
Proud to be your local talk station for great conservative, all-American programming.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see some off and on rain out there, a little breezy, a little chilly in the low 40s, upper 30s. On Wednesday, some rain at times through the afternoon, still a gusty wind out there. And we may see a little bit of wet snow Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Maybe a slushy inch or two, especially in the hills. Then more rain and snow showers with that chilly wind continuing into Friday. I'm Rich Cadelia, WYSL.
Spring has sprung at the all-new Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at 6484 Route 96 in Victor, where the selection and savings are better than ever. For example, lease a 2024 Grand Cherokee 4xe in Midnight Sky, just $359 a month for 36 months. A 23 Chrysler Pacifica minivan in Fathom Blue Pearl Coat is only $399 a month for 39 months. A 24 Jeep Compass Limited SUV is only $189 a month for 27 months. And a Jeep Wrangler Willys 4xe in bright white clear coat is only $259 a month for 36 months. $2,000 cash or trade. Other 3 leases require $2,500, must have lease loyalty. First payment, DMV, taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. Shop Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram now at 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor.
Tom Hamilton here, president of Hamilton Wealth Management. Let's talk about investment fees and commissions. Just how much are you paying to have your investments managed? If you're like most people, you really don't know the cost, right? Does this make any sense? Paying for something without knowing how much? Okay, maybe your advisor is a friend and even sends you a birthday card every year. But what real value is he providing and at what cost? Isn't that a fair question to ask of any service provider, including your broker? For a $2 million account with annual fees and commissions totaling 2.5%, you're paying $50,000 per year. That's a lot of money. Are you receiving that level of value? If you have over $250,000, I will personally review your investments, including an analysis of the actual costs. To schedule your no-cost review, call our Pittsford office at 381-9870 or contact us from our website, hamiltonwealthmanagement.com. That's hamiltonwealthmanagement.com.
Advisory services offered through Wealth Plan Partners. Securities offered through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
At AirQuip, it's all about your comfort. Comfort with our company, comfort with our team, and most importantly, comfort in your home. As a trained comfort specialist, we adhere to the highest standards of customer service, training, and industry expertise. With a trained system from AirQuip, you'll get the best products, honest prices, and service that's unparalleled. We are your home comfort specialists. Find out more at airquipheating.com.
AirQuip Heating and Air.
Flower City Collision in Henrietta is your hometown body shop, trusted by numerous corporate fleets, properly insured and registered in New York. Flower City Collision specializes in working with insurance companies on your behalf. Having built a culture where they respect the customer and their employees as well, Flower City Collision has assembled the best collision team in the Rochester area. If you need repair, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he will work with your national insurance company to ensure you get the repair you need done right.
Just like a winning team, UR Medicine Golisano Children's Hospital medical staff combine skills to save lives and create a healthier community. Their dedication gives children in the region access to advanced care, supports groundbreaking research, and provides top-notch training for the next generation of pediatricians. Help us make even more remarkable advances happen at Golisano Children's Hospital. Join us and be part of the journey towards a brighter future for children in our region.
I'm Tom Wall's team member, Ollie. We were getting crushed. It's the
All right,
middle
we
of a
have
Friday
two
dinner, and
callers.
all of a
First
sudden
one
my
will be
boss
Mike,
screams out,
and then
"You guys
after
are doing
that,
a great
Keith.
job." In unison, me and 20
Yep, just give me a
coworkers
moment
yell
to get
back, "Thank
Keith
you,
in
Julie."
after Mike. Stand
Tom
by.
Walls.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Been talking about Kathy Hochul, Her Majesty, Queen Kathy. Is she responsible for this violence that we have across our state? This violence that we have in New York City? Is she responsible? Seemed that the Officer Diller's family would say yes. I would agree. Let me grab a couple of calls to see if they agree or have something else to say. I'll grab Mike if I could. Mike, how are you?
Larry, pretty good. Hey, 2 points. Yes, the Queen, the New York State Assembly, and Senate are responsible for the spike in crime, but not just in New York City, but across the whole state with the bail reform. Okay, they were told by law enforcement when they were trying to enact it in the beginning, this was what was going to happen, and it happened. The fruition came true from our state, our local law enforcement. Here in Rochester, we have people that go out, steal a car, get caught with a gun, and get let go on an appearance ticket. And 2 days later, you hear about the same person showing back up in court again, being a multiple offender before they even went to court for their first case. And as far as the Queen muscling in on that poor family, okay, she shows up. Okay, you forgot the rest of the little bit of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. Okay. The Queen shows up wanting to see them while they're closing the casket, and she's trying to muscle in, and she wants to show up for the eulogy the next day. Her and Adam. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You know, they didn't want you there. You didn't take the hint, lady. Okay. So, and as far as the migrant problem, okay, we can't do anything until those borders are shut down. Period. The borders need to be totally locked down, and then we can deal with the people that are here. Okay, there's 10 million that squeaked in. Okay, are we going to be able to deport all of them? Be realistically, no. Would I like to see the cattle cars and shove them in there and shove them back across the border, Mexico, wherever? The airplanes, freight trains, boats. I don't care how they leave. No. So guess what? We could set up a program. No green card. You came in this country. You cannot become a citizen unless you leave
hold on.
this country.
Let me touch a bunch of these. You give me a lot, Mike. Let me try to cover a couple of them. Number one, you are right on the governor for sure. She was told to not come, but she thought, I'm the governor, I can do what I want. Well, if you're in Albany at the Capitol, yeah, but in someone's personal private place, no, you can't. So yes, you're right. She didn't listen. The bail reform piece, I got to add one more group. You're right, and I'm going to add one more. The reason why I was wrong on this, and about every 5 years I'm wrong on something, and I was wrong on bail reform. And I think it's because I wanted better bail reform. So I think it's why I believed it. I believed, and I said on record, that I thought it would be okay, even though it was a bad bill. I knew it was a bad bill, and I agreed with what law enforcement said. But in my mind, I said, no worries, because judges wouldn't do this. Judges aren't going to let these people back out. They're simply going to say no, and then the judges would go through their appeal process, and they would have rulings, and they would fix the law in the courts. Holy cow, was I wrong. They didn't care. The judges just followed this terrible law. I thought they would never do it. So I'm going to add on top of that, Mike, our judges, who also could have done something about this and did not. And the last part. Yes, you're right. We have to fix the border. Agreed. But as a governor, what can I do? All I can do is show them the right way and hope the federal government and or other states copy me. I gave you the right answer. I hope they will follow. That's the best I can do. I try to cover all three of those. Thank you for the call, Mike. Let me grab another
Keith.
call if I could. I'm going to grab Keith. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Hopefully you and your family had a good Easter. I debated whether to call in, but I just felt maybe people should know the long-term loss that's felt, I'm sure, within the family when an officer is killed in the line of duty. My paternal grandfather was Cleveland PD. He went on the job in 1921. And then 31 years later, in 1952, an officer that he personally knew was killed in the line of duty, just as Officer Diller died on a Monday. The exact date of the Cleveland officer's death, May 12th, 1952. That, too, was a Monday. It was a Monday afternoon. The officer was mounted patrol. There was a disturbance on a Cleveland city bus. The officer dismounted, got on the bus. The person, it was a guy making a trouble, was in the rear of the bus. The officer went down the aisle of the bus. The bad guy overpowered the officer, took away his service revolver, and killed him. The passengers, in a righteous manner, rose up and beat the guy. The gun went off, as best as I know the story. I believe several passengers were shot, but none died. And then there was the famous picture on the front of the Cleveland Plain Dealer showing the bad guy fully shackled, standing between two stunned Cleveland officers. The stunned looks, both of them were on the young side. They couldn't probably believe that one of their own had just been killed, and now they were holding their fellow officer's murder. The guy went to trial. He was found to be insane, and he was sent to the Lima, Ohio Institute for the Criminally Insane. That was the exact date. People will look it up. May 12th, 1952.
How long did he stay there? Do you know?
I didn't. I never found out the end result of his incarceration. But just, I'm not even sure.
I want to say thank you very much for sharing that story, my friend. What made you decide to share that story? Because of what I just said?
I wanted to say in closing, that's 72 years ago. And even though, of course, Officer Diller has just recently passed, I have to imagine in that Cleveland police officer's family that now 72 years later, whatever relatives are still living, that lingers from 1952, the way that officer was shot dead on that Cleveland bus. And I just, in closing, just wanted to, certainly if maybe someone is out there is pointedly anti-cop, I just wanted to know the toll that is taken in the family of these officers when they are taken that way, and how, like this poor young wife and her young son, they said in closing that he's now got 10,000 new fathers, the one-year-old son, but he's going to miss his dad, his daddy, and that young wife now is fully a widow. So it's just very sad how officers are taken like that, and the public really doesn't understand, remember, like in 1952, 72 years ago, that still got to hurt many people from that long ago.
Thank you for that story, Keith. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Wow. I appreciate that story. That was nice. Sharing something like that from his family publicly is a wonderful thing. And I hope that if there's anyone listening who has lost someone in their family, even if it's years ago, I hope that made them feel a little bit better knowing that other people also feel that too. So thank you for that. So Joe goes on to say, no Queen Kathy today, please. Sorry, Joe. Already blew that one. So yes. All right, let me see if I can grab a couple of comments here. Joel says, I don't like any photo op politicians using anything for self-promotion. If Hochul cared, she could make contact without press involved. I agree, right? And unless she had done it often, if I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Giuliani, mayor of New York, who went to every cop who was killed in 9/11. He went to every funeral. he didn't use that as a, photo op. However, the press picked it up, and I'm fine with that. No problems. He thought that was important. Former prosecutor, felt very close to cops. He went to their funerals. I think it was honest. I think he actually cared. I don't think he's thought, I don't know the man, so possibly, but I don't feel like that was a photo op for him. I think he honestly cared, and I think he went there, and it was fine. I don't have a problem with someone going to someone's funeral, as long as the family's okay with it, right? Obviously. But you're right. Photo op's a bad idea. If it happens to become a photo op, if someone takes a picture of me at someone's funeral one day, I'm fine. I don't care. But you won't find me doing that. I don't do that. I've been to several of them, and I've never taken a picture of them. But someone else might. No worries. Whatever they like. So, yes. All right. Let me see if I can keep going down here. The Peaceful Warrior says, speaking the truth, Larry. Thank you, my friend. I am trying my best to keep this going so that people can eventually hear me and maybe actually one day make real change. Ed says, the wicked witch of the West Hochul needs to admit it's her fault since she enabled the crazy activists to take control of the city and state. And this goes back to what Mike was saying, right? He says it's not just her fault. He says it's all these people's fault. And then I said, and the judges. Ed, I think you're correct. I think Mike is correct. I'm right on this one. The activists are taking control because they don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about our rights. They care about what feels good. And I get it. It feels good to be magnanimous and help these poor downtrodden people. I get that. It's just wrong and morally wrong in the long run. It might feel good right then and there, but definitely not in the long run. And the people who actually hurt most, which is the part that bothers me most, Ed, all these people making the laws, they're doing just fine. They have personal security. They have nice jobs. They make tons of money. They don't do any actual work. They're not affected. The average person is affected by their actions, and they think they're righteous. So I appreciate that. He says, next shirt, I'm tired of being right. Larry Sharpe, I'm in. I love that. Great shirt. Is it a good shirt? Tell me. 585-346-3000. Sharpe Way Radio. Larry Sharpe, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
While many local collision and repair shops have been gobbled up by national chains with their impersonal touch, Flower City Collision remains locally owned and operated. The shop was started by a local veteran who taught his son Zach the basics in customer service and providing customers value. Flower City doesn't work with a specific insurance company. They want to be your advocate. If you need a repair, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta. He will work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure you get the repair you need done right.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
We have a caller, Khalil.
Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy you give me a small chunk of your afternoon. We've been talking a lot about Her Majesty Queen Kathy. And is she responsible for this violence across New York State, specifically New York City, obviously, with the recent death of Officer Diller? But is she responsible? Oh boy, a lot of people saying yes, her and more. And the assembly and the judges, all of them. Absolutely. Let me grab a caller if I could. Khalil, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
Good. What's up?
I was just calling because we gotta stop acting like we don't know why the city is the way it is. Why there's dirt on the floor. We gotta stop acting like it. It's because people don't know how to control their emotions. When I was
We will have Roger
I
next.
got an attention tantrum, and the janitor had to yell at me for throwing stuff on the floor after he just cleaned it. We need more of that happening.
Yes. So you're saying we need more of people caring about their local community, their local property. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's gonna have to come from the working class, the one who actually clean, like the janitor that actually has to clean up after everybody. Because it's not even like his role in society is not to clean up after everybody. It's just to set the tone for the people coming in where they at, whether it's the subway system, school building, public businesses. It doesn't matter. We mentally we have to change he has to change what his role in society is. He should not be cleaning up after grown adults.
No, I like what you're saying, right? This goes back years ago. I used to work for Bill Bratton, police commissioner of New York City. This is over 20 years ago, when he was in the private sector. And one of the things he would talk about is, trying to take care of some of the smaller things, showing people you care about the smaller thing. To your point, like, a dirty sidewalk or something like that. And as people begin to understand that people in this area care about these smaller things, people don't do the bigger bad things either, because they know that you care about the smaller things. So I think you have a valid point. I think you're right.
Yes, and another thing that we need, I don't know, like the news media needs to understand this. We definitely need like a whole Me Too movement, not just with the Hollywood girls, with the women in New York. Because the other day, a girl got killed for not giving out her number. Like, that's just crazy.
Yes.
It's just the worst case scenario.
Khalil, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much, my friend. I think he's at a valid point. We have to start being better, right? We can't just wait
Roger
for them to do it. We got to do it too. Absolutely. Let me grab, if I could, another call. Roger, how are you, sir?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
All right, so check this out. Just like you had a guest on last year, enforce what she said, enforce the Sixth Amendment by financing public defender's office, hiring more public defenders and judges to get these cases rolling along, to decrease the time window between making bail and trial date. This way people are not lingering. This way people are not lingering around in society or in jail awaiting a trial for more than a year just to be found not guilty, like Khalif Browder, who was abused and hung himself after being in Rikers for a year before being found not guilty for stealing a book bag. Okay?
I remember that very famous story. His brother was actually very active in politics afterwards also. Yes, I remember. Look, I think you're right. You bring up a very valid point. We can't just fix bail. We should fix bail, but we can't just do that. The entire system is broken, right? You shouldn't have to sit in jail for a year, particularly if you're not even convicted of a crime, particularly if you're going to wind up being innocent, or worst case, even if you are convicted, the sentence you were going to be sentenced to is shorter than the time you spent in Rikers Island. So, yes, I completely agree. It's a very valid point.
Also, to your other caller, a wall won't work. You have to make people not feel that they have to leave their country in the first place. Close all the military bases south of Texas and the economic sanctions with these other countries. Stop with the coups and the destabilization of these countries to take control of their sovereign resources for the interests of American shareholders, and let them develop on their own.
100% agreed. Generally speaking, for this show, I speak more about New York State, but from a national level, you are 100% correct. Our terrible foreign policy has made things worse, not better. That's for sure. But from a governor can't do anything about that. But yes, I agree.
I know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Roger, thank you for the call, brother. I appreciate it.
You too. Thanks.
So, yeah. Yes, on all the things. These are good calls. I can't complain about any of them. Good calls. Yes, absolutely. I think Khalil is on the money. We need to be working locally to make our own neighborhoods, to make our own places better and stronger. We've got to step up as men and not accept bad behavior. I think that's absolutely true. And Roger's right. We can't just fix bail reform. Nobody should be in jail, sitting in Rikers Island, the most violent jail in the entire country, for a time longer than they would have been sentenced if they were convicted. Worse, they're innocent. Even worse. So yes, all that has to be fixed. And we're doing none of it. We're just letting it all just slowly decay. That is a huge problem. Lil J says, all this violence is young men. We need guidance from older men. 100% yes. This goes back to what Khalil was talking about, believe it or not. When Khalil says the guy who's like the janitor, I'm sure Khalil doesn't mean just the janitor. What he means is anybody who is a working class male working to pay his or her bills, right? In this case, male for young men, a working class male working to pay his bills and setting his own, standards for action for younger men and men around him. 100% yes. When I was a kid, the number one reason why I joined the Marine Corps, my father passed when I was I was young. I was 11 when my father died. When I joined the Marine Corps, I was searching for positive male role models. That's the number one reason why I joined. Now, I didn't know that then. I can look back and see what my actions did. I was desperately searching for positive male role models, and I found them. I've said it more than once. The Marine Corps saved my life. The Marine Corps made me a far better man, a far better person, a far better citizen, everything better. I am not in favor of a draft. I think it should be voluntary. You do it if you feel it's right for you. What I can say for sure is, boy, was it right for me. It was exactly the right answer for me. And I'm very happy that I joined the Marine Corps all those years ago. Yes, back in the 80s. Frank says, I used to work for a political party chairman. We always, in caps, called before attending any funeral. Never disrespect any family. That is exactly correct. That's exactly the right answer. Frank, thank you for that. Look, I get you want to support your constituents. I get you may actually care. Again, though, you do want to respect the family. So I get it completely, 100%. Mike says, accountability is not only for politicians, but for society. Bingo! A wonderful quote for us to end this on. Thank you, Mike, so much. I appreciate it. Everybody else, I want to say thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.